I'm honored, actually. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you. You call on me when you need, and then we'll go from there, or give people more time. I know you guys are all prompt. It's 8:30 we're Eastern time, so.
Yeah, I'm going to mute everyone, and then if like questions pop up, everybody can just use the chat, and then maybe once Lindsey gets done speaking, we can take some time for questions. But let me give her a quick intro. So I know we have a lot of ladies here. I'm Sarah Cronin. I am kind of like a subset of Fit and Fierce and Team Courage, and I try to put the word out there for everyone in these groups that Lindsey was going to speak for us. So I'm like, personal development is my jam. That is what I love. And I buy books constantly, and I somehow on Amazon was recommended to buy her book, Holy Shift. And I actually put it out into a challenge group, and I put a poll like with a few different books, and this was one of them, and this book won as the one that everyone wanted to read. And slowly but surely, me and my girls started tagging Lindsey, and we started having conversations, and she offered to speak for us. And of course, I jumped on the chance to have her, and I wanted to get it out there to everyone. This is her first book. It's called Holy Shift, and I'll get her to talk a little bit about it. But if you read it, I think like in my personal development world, I kind of look at her as like a mix of Rachel Hollis and Jen Sincero. It has a little bit of vibes of both. I don't think she and I have talked about that, but I definitely think the book, if you like You Are a Badass, if you like Girl Stop Apologizing, Girl Wash Your Face, you'll love this too. And it's something that is great for challengers or good for you in your business. And speaking with Lindsey and obviously like reading her book, she is a very impressive person. She opened her first business at 17. She's a mom of 5. She runs a dance studio. She also has some affiliation with a network marketing or multi-level marketing type company, and she has a lot of experience. And now she is getting into the business coaching world, and we are lucky to have her tonight. So with that, I'll kind of turn it over to you, Lindsey, and let you talk to us a little bit about how you came to write this book and a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thank you so much, Sarah. Such a sweet introduction, and you nailed it on the head on so many parts. And I'm so grateful that Amazon decided to like, hey, check this out. And so maybe that was just a law of attraction, because I was curious. And I'm like, how did you find me? Did you see a post and you're like, no, Amazon suggested you? And I thought, wow, way to go, Amazon. Because of that, I'm here talking with you all today. So I'm not for sure how many of you have actually read the book. I want to make this about you and how I can pour into you and just give you, you take away some elements of this going, okay, wow, I either want to read the book more or I need to just have my own holy shift. And then also just get an understanding of who I am and what brought me to this place. She is correct. I opened a dance studio right out of high school. I was shunned actually in my small town because I was all about hip hop. And for anyone that's had dance training, it was ballet, tap, jazz, and anything outside of that was taboo. And how could you dare teach that? Because hip hop's not, there's no curriculum for that. And then we began to, I have world titles as a studio owner. I'm approaching my 23rd year as a dance studio owner. We have close to 600 students. And so hey, hip hop is part of the curriculum, and now all those people who used to laugh now offer hip hop. So, and that's just part of who we are, right? When you have a purpose and you feel you're good at something, had I listened even as a teenager to people like shunning me and just saying, well, that's just not appropriate. You're not professional. And what do you know? I still stuck the course. I still stayed true to that. And maybe it's me being stubborn because it wasn't foresight of, hey, I'm going to be successful and this is really going to take care of my family and be amazing. Maybe I'm just stubborn. And so maybe part of your shift should be if you see something that you want or you have a goal and you have a drive, don't stop at anything until it becomes your reality. Or you become so successful at it that it gives you options for your income. Because to me, doing something that you love to do and being paid for it is the ultimate success, period. I have friends who are multimillionaires and who are miserable. And I have friends who make medium income and are very happy, and their marriage is very happy, and they're just loving life. So it really is, there's a scale, right? And so I wanted to write a book what sparked it for me is to say, okay, I need to put my message out there. My mom was diagnosed with early onset dementia at the age of 57. She's now 64, going to be actually 65 this month. And she's now been in a full-time care facility for 2 years. My stepdad's like, I can't care for her. I want to make sure she has ultimate care. It was getting to where she was wandering off and really aggressive. And so he put her there, and it's been great for her. And I know it's the best thing. It's torture. It's painful. And it has been hell the last 7 years, actually 8 years since diagnosis, but longer because her behavior. So we're talking like in her 50s, she just had peculiar behavior. Mind you, my book is really less about, it's about healing wounds. It's that parental wound. Sometimes, you're sitting here thinking, oh, wow, that's, she has this, mother who's sick, and how bad for her. But what I wanted to turn that into is I have a mom that I have my issues with. She was a mother that I love. I love her dearly, and she was a really good mom. She wasn't necessarily the mother that I needed, meaning the way I need to be nurtured, knowing my love language. She was very selfish. And so I made it a point in my life not to be mad and stay bitter because I wasn't raised the way I wanted to be raised, and more of, okay, how can I change and shift my behavior that was modeled to me my whole entire life and be better for the sake of my children? And that is part of a shift. So it's really taking your life as, and as mothers, I think there's all women here. We have this, like, no one tells us this, but we have this, like, I need to honor my parents. I need to have respect for them because they're my parents. I love them, unconditionally, which we do. However, there are probably things in your life that the way you were raised where you're thinking, that doesn't sit right with me. I wish things were different. So all you can do is release that pain or that frustration or that, anger that you might have had growing up if something happened or trauma happened to you, and then just do right by your children. So I wanted to touch a little bit on that because it's very important in my healing of myself. See, I was diagnosed with autoimmune disease called Hashimoto's in 2012. I was actually the first year I started working in a health and wellness and network marketing company. I'm no longer with them, but I really see the value. So the fact that you guys are coaches, I applaud you. You are changing the world, and you're dealing with a lot of people who have an emotional scar and that they heal or they try to numb with food, and you guys are shedding light on a healthier way. So kudos to you all. But with me, I was working out twice a day. I had this thing that the world was out to get me. It was not the right mindset. It was a major competitiveness. Like, I would be at the gym on the treadmill, and then someone would get next to me, and I'm like, I'm going to outrun them. Like, we're not racing. Like, everything was competition. I was in a pissing match with anyone and everyone about anything, and honestly with myself. I would literally berate myself internally saying, well, that was good, sis, but you could do better. And it was never good enough. And this is nothing my parents made me feel. So back to my mom, she never made me feel that way at all. It wasn't like that. It was just my internalness. So something needed to get healed in me. And I was also as a studio owner, dealing with dance moms who are crazy. And we had competitive teams, which made them even more crazy. It was just stressful times, and not speaking my truth. I literally developed a goiter the size of a golf ball on the side of my neck. So I really started taking a look and internally going, I need to heal myself. I need to get right with myself. And I also need to start speaking my truth. Meaning if, I would have guilt. I had Catholic guilt, and I'm not Catholic. Like, what was that? I don't know what it is, but I would just feel like I'm always letting people down if I didn't say yes to everything. Meanwhile, I was making myself sick. So once my mom got sick and diagnosed, I realized that was my moment of wake up, going, you know what? She lived her life the way she wanted to live it, and she's not going to live the rest of her days doing what she wants to do. By God, I am not going to keep living my life by default. I'm going to start really designing my life and being unapologetic about it. And so that's really where the shift took place, where I started looking at things going, not doing that. I'm not going to that party. Yeah, my kids can't come to that, or they can't be friends with you because your kid's an asshole. I was really just setting the bar, setting my standard, and I was raising it a few notches. And a couple times I still feel guilty, but because that's just my thing. I want to make people happy. I'm an empath, so if you're not happy, I'm not happy. But I really was really focusing on, okay, in my soul, is this aligned in with what I want to do? Am I taking time away from my children by doing something for someone else? And am I okay with that? And is this, would my mom have done that and that made me upset? So am I doing the same thing? Like it's just really taking an audit of what I was doing daily and deciding that's not alignment. That's not getting me anywhere. Why am I doing, and start questioning everything. So between the shift in that, I really started changing and shifting in my business. I gave away our competitive dance teams, meaning it's an additional income, but a huge stress. There's only a handful of kids doing more, getting more lessons. We're traveling. We're going to dance worlds. We're going to nationals. I mean, we have all the titles. I have a studio full of trophies, and I was over it. I'm like, I don't care anymore. So I gave away my dance studio competitive side to my long-term instructor who's been with me. He's been with me since he was a teenager. And I gave him the business. I didn't ask for a payment. I didn't ask for payoff. I literally gave away a six-figure income, aspect of my business, because it no longer aligned with me. And people thought I was crazy. But I thought, you know what, it's crazy to give that away and not ask for something, but my soul just felt like I no longer resonate with it, and it's not making me happy. It's making me sick because of the stress. And it was the best thing I ever did. So I want to, teach and do a deep dive on that, at a later date, just to get into the, depth, because there's probably some things that you're doing right now that you damn well shouldn't be doing. Or that you're like, I know this is not really helping my business, but it's helping a friend, or I'm really I'm helping out my parents in a certain way, but meanwhile, you're putting your dreams and your goals on hold. And I just want to be that voice to you, saying it's not to let other people down, but at what point will you start shifting and stop letting yourself down and start putting your family and their goals to the side while you're helping other people. And it's really awkward to do that, because we're women, we're supposed to be innate nurturers. We're the protectors. We're supposed to go out and hunt and gather the food and prepare it and make sure we look like we never had kids and make money like there's no glass ceiling. Like, there's a lot of pressure on us. And I'm here to tell you, like, I see you guys, I feel you, and I'm like, no. I'm going to be all in alignment with what I want to do, and if it doesn't align, I'm not doing it. So with that said, it affects your relationship with other people when you shift. You will find that you lose friends. I have lost several close friends since I started really shifting my life, because when you start vibrating at a higher level, those who can't match that vibration, there's usually a conflict, or they just stop calling you less and less and less, because it's painful for them. I have friends and here's the deal, you will feel very lonely when you start shifting and elevating your life. And if you're feeling lonely right now and you feel that people are like abandoning you, it's because you're elevating yourself, and congrats. And I wish I had someone there telling me that when I was going through it, because I literally felt bipolar, and I felt abandoned, and I went through all the feels, right? And then I realized, wow, I've elevated my life. And in fact, new people have come into my life when I started elevating myself. So just know that if you started on that journey, or you're feeling that way right now, good things are coming your way. Try to have the faith in yourself, and just have the intention of meeting other people that are, one, like-minded, but two, they're on the same mission, maybe different missions, but they're on this mission of elevation. Because when you start elevating your life, you no longer have time for the drama, the BS, the whining, the complaints about just the weather, right? Here I'm complaining about the weather. And being, it gets so hot, but it really is, guys. It's our first like heat wave, and I'm like Goldilocks. It's like too hot, too cold. So I'll complain about the weather. But anyway, when you're, talking about people, you don't have time for that anymore. It just changes everything. And let's talk about relationship with your spouse. So I really was going to develop out my chapter 7. Chapter 7 is titled Count Orgasms, Not Calories. Now, in your industry, you're like, hold the phone, lady. Don't be saying that. My people need to be counting the calories because we're in health and wellness. It's not to take away with that. It's really about the spirituality part of, and the relationship part of it, and less about food and, you know, talking of that, is to make a point. And my point being is, my parents never fought. So my parents never fought. They never raised their voice. And so when me and my boyfriend, who's now my husband, I met him first day of my freshman year in high school. I was 14 and he was 16. Within 2 months, we were dating. We broke up one time for like 3 weeks and were miserable, and got married 9 years after dating. And then I don't even know how many years we've been together. Like our 18th anniversary. You stop counting after a while. And maybe it's just me. And we have, our oldest is 16 and our youngest is 4. We're like never going to get rid of kids. They're going to be living with us forever. So one thing with our relationship is when me and my husband would fight or argue, which we rarely did anyway, but when we did, I thought, well, that's it. We're divorcing because you're not supposed to fight. And that was really hard for me to understand, one, to fight fair, because he doesn't fight fair. Like when we go at it and we're arguing, we tease each other. Like we're like siblings sometimes. I think it's just, we've grown up together. He'll go for the jugular and say something. I'm like, okay, that was below the belt, like rude. And where I don't do that. I will ignore him, because I learned this from my mom. I'll just ignore him until I really think about it and go through the anger. And then I'll like tell him why I'm upset. But usually it's after he's asked me like 30 times, what's wrong? Just tell me what's wrong. And I'm like, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Who else does that? It's really awkward to fight when you're like, because it comes down to speaking your truth. So one thing I learned with my shift and with counseling, I go to a Reiki with a practitioner. I'm a Reiki practitioner myself. And one thing I've learned to develop is my voice and speaking my truth. And it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So when he's being an ass, because they just can be. Anyway, he's like the sweetest person, but he can be a little punk too. Come on. I'm not gonna praise him too much. Come on. But I was like, that hurts my feelings. That hurts my feelings and makes me feel this way. I know that's not your intention, or maybe it is, but when you say this, it makes me want to stab you in the face while you're sleeping at night. And that hurts my feelings. And then I just hold grudges, and then I don't want to, and then I want to stab you. And so I've learned to like say better about what, how I feel, and say, when you say this, it gets me. And I know that they'll tell you, don't let anyone ever make you feel a certain way. But come on, this is like your husband. This is your partner, your spouse. Yeah, you made me feel this way. And so by saying that, for a person that doesn't really say I'm sorry a lot, he's now much better to say, I'm sorry you felt that. I probably shouldn't have said it like that. I was just angry. And we just have that communication more. Where before we went to, we're going to ignore, we're going to act like nothing's wrong. And then one little thing happens and then it's like, so that has been one huge shift I do talk about in my book. And there's something about it. And you guys will relate because you're talking about health and wellness. When you help somebody lose some weight or just lose inflammation and where they start feeling better about themselves, that changes everything, including their sexual being and how they present themselves. All of a sudden they're standing up taller. Maybe they're wearing a little bit more svelte, fitted clothing. And they will acknowledge you saying, hey, I feel so great. Thank you for introducing me to this weight loss process, or keeping me track, or keep giving me the knowledge on how to take care of myself. And that affects their physicality, their life. And it does make a difference when you feel good about yourself with your spouse and how you present that. I'm all about sex with the lights on. Like, I want you feeling so good about and confident about yourself at every single size that you're not looking at the scale going, well, I'm deemed worthy when the scale hits this number, because that's such bullshit. It's like, that's like saying, I will be happy when I have all my debt paid off. And then you sit and do nothing about the debt, and then you're never happy, right? The weight loss, believe me, the way I eat, I should be a size 4. I am not. And I have learned to be okay with that. It's frustrating. However, my confidence is still there. And it has always been. And I've had my moments of doubt, but I really had to work hard at that, having the confidence, and it makes you a different person. And so my goal is to really impact women going, look, you may not feel well, and or you may feel that, okay, I'm not considered deemed worthy, or I'm not of value, or I'm not pretty until I'm a size 2 or a 4, something crazy, some crazy number, right? And when you stop changing and putting a label on yourself, like I will be pretty when, or I don't look like the Instagram models. And then you realize, well, they don't look like that either. They're like filtered AF. Then that will help you, but you got to go to the root. And maybe that's an unnurturing parent. Maybe there's an unfortunate situation that happened, to you when you were a child, and there's trauma there. Maybe there's a health concern that you're just not, you're avoiding, or you're not taking care of, right? There's always something at the root of all the problems that you have. And when you can stop and be still and take a moment to just see where your mind wanders when you have a moment of quiet. Now, I know it's hard, and you're like, I'm a mom, I don't have time for that. I get you. If you have to go to a parking lot and like turn the radio off and just be there in a moment and just be still, you will really, and go within, and you will really start to listen to your mind and realize, wow, when I have time to think, my mind goes here, or it's going here. It's going to things that are probably in the past or in the future, haven't happened, shouldn't be worrying about. Like you're just creating issues, things to be worried about, or you're worrying about your present situation. The things in the past, you got to heal that and let it go. The things in your future, it's like being in a rocking chair. You're going to worry yourself. You're going to be moving, but you're not going anywhere. And I'm asking you right now to shift your focus to the present and being right here, right now, and looking at your life going, what are the things that I can shift today? Today, this is not a 10-step, 10-month process. What are things I can shift in my life today that's going to make my life better, in a sense of I'm going to be more at peace, because you cannot put a price tag on your peace of mind. So what are the things, and you can write that down. What are the top 3 things? Go 3 things that is it your marriage, relationships? Is it your relationships with self? Is it your relationship with your food? Do you stay busy to just be busy, and it keeps you from really focusing on what you need to do now? Because I'm a chronic, let's load up my calendar and let's be busy for the sake of being busy. I was sheriff of busy town. And now I'm I got to slow down, and I need to take a moment, and I need to be present for my kids. I need to go date my husband, and I need to just stop and take a breather. Right? And do personal development, do hobbies. I'm like a junkie planner. Oh my gosh. I have great joy in filling out my planner and stickers like I'm 12. That's me, right? But that's my downtime. And I am unapologetic about it. In fact, I celebrate that. So if you're a planner girl, welcome. And so I see you post about, I post about my planners a lot because, okay, so next is that I want to talk about is time blocking. So the reason why I post about planners, because I see, people are singing, how do you do it? I do a time block. So think about when you're in high school. When you're in high school and you walk into class, or you're in college, you walk into that class, you're doing social studies for this block of time. And then what happens, you put all your books away, you only pull out your binder and your book, that's for social studies, okay, and a world history, and you're doing that. Then when that class is over, that goes away, you're going to math class. Okay, math comes out, you get your math book, you got your math binder, notebook, and everything else goes away. What we do is, if you saw the shit show my desk is in right now, we have things everywhere. Right now I do, because it's recital season, but I'm you have your binders for this, you have your work binder, then you have your 9 to 5 real work binder, then you have your entrepreneur thing, maybe you're writing a book or you're doing a blog, you have your kids stuff, you're sewing costumes, you have your, you just have bills, you have all the things all over your life, for that you need to do on a daily, all around you. And what happens is we try to multitask, and all we do is just put out fires. So all you're doing is just running, doing a little bit here, then you're running over here, and then you get sidetracked. And then we wonder why we don't ever get anything done. So what I've discovered that works best for me, because I do have a little squirrel brain, is time blocking. So I will pull out my planner. Think of the planner if you were to have a planner if you did hair, okay, and you're booking appointments. They're every half minute, and I will block. Okay, I'm reading this morning. I'm reading for this hour. That's my time. I am doing, work. I'm a leader in a company. We focus on travel. I'm doing like training Zooms and stuff, and I have a corporate inner circle Zooms from like 2:30 to 4. I'm doing that. Then I'm picking up kids because we're taxis. Like my girls have dance, they have karate. So I will block the times that I'm doing things. And then I look to see that are like priority on the books, doctor appointments, dentist appointments, hair appointments, nail appointments. Like I like my hair and nails done. And then I will look to see what is open, times open. I will make appointments that I'm paying bills, doing payroll, following up with employees that weren't doing what they should be doing. You know what I'm saying? Like responsible stuff. But I plug everything into my calendar. And then from there, I'm left with blocks of time. Maybe that's when you have blocked those chunks of time. You're like, okay, that's when I can prospect. This is whenever I'm going to make my own marketing, things. I'm going to start DMing people. I'm going to make, you will start filling that with things that you want to be doing. That's going to get you closer to your goal for your dream job. Being an entrepreneur. Or maybe you want to start a craft. You want to start, singing, take singing lessons or art classes or sewing or whatever that you want to do. But what happens is we just kind of wing it, and then we wonder why I don't get shit done, because you're not intentionally planning out your day. And if you do not run your day runs you. I'm proof of that. So people always ask me, I don't understand how you do it all. How do you do all this? You have 3 businesses. I'm like, because I time block my life. I do have a husband, P.S., that is super supportive, grabs the kids. He might take them fast food, but they get fed. Like he's on it. So I don't sit there and think. There's things I do, and then there's things that I delegate out, and I get a lot of support from him. Family-wise, we don't have that support system. So if you have family that ask, and let me tell you one thing, ladies, your big shift, if anything, that you could get from this is 1, time blocking, but 2, start asking for help. Start asking for help. Start a co-op with saying, hey, Wednesday night, I'm going to take your guys' kids because guess what? On Thursday night, you're taking mine. Okay? Pay for someone to come and do your yards. If that is like, if you're spending a lot of time doing that, your husband is, and you can compress time, if you can pay for it and afford it, you'll find that you can afford it. You can cut back on other things and add to things that you can delegate and pay. That's going to give you more time to focus on the things that's going to build your dream and your financial future. Mowing the lawn and spending hours in the garden every week that's wasted time. When you can find someone that's their gig and pay them to do that, then you can be working on yours and not watching TV or doing any of that stuff. Like doing something that's for your dream. And was a huge shift for me. I only watch a few shows that I like on TV that I will spend the time doing, or we go and watch a movie for like a date night. Because I live in California, which is like there's so many things to do, but the town I live in sucks. Like there's nothing to do here. So we'll go to like the movies, take the kids back off, but it's not. Don't glorify California. And the weather's great. But where we're at is not in an area. We're about an hour and a half from San Francisco. So if we want to go to a play or go do something, we have to plan for that. So time blocking, you guys, giving yourself some love, and knowing that you're doing the best that you can with what you got. And you're going to take little baby steps to get you where you want to be. And know this. I wrote this book. I'm already like thinking, I could have done this better. I should have developed this better. And then I comparing myself to like someone like Jen Hatmaker. I went and saw her on her book tour, and she put it in really great perspective for me, because she's like, look, this is my 14th book. This isn't my first book. Right. And right then I just gave myself permission, like in my head's like, see, slow it down. And keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you love to do. You'll have your moment when it's there. And honestly, this is what I want to be doing anyway. So talking and speaking to women, or hopefully there's no men on here, sorry if there is, men and women that want to elevate their life, that want to change, and saying, no more excuses. We're going to give you some tools that you can give to do for yourself, because I'm telling you what, you have the ability to make a huge impact on everyone in your immediate vicinity and the world, but you hide it because you're fearful, and you hide it thinking, well, what will people think of me? And I'm here to tell you, fuck what they think. I'm here to tell you, your closest friends will not champion you. Your closest friends and family will not support you as deeply and as vastly as complete strangers. I have had more support from my book, from Sarah and Lindsey and a couple other ladies that have been tagging me, than people I've known my whole friggin' life. People that live in my town. One of my best friends hasn't even bought my book. And my sister has not posted one thing about it, nor called me or texted me saying, hi, bye, kiss my ass, and hey, congrats on the book. So if you sat around waiting for the people that you know and hold to a standard to support you in your business and in your life the way you want, and you feel like, well, they don't support me, so no one else will, you're lying to yourself, because you will have people champion you that you've never known when you put yourself out there. And I would love to support anything that you guys are doing as well. Tag me in things. Women support women, and that's where it's at. And I know what it feels to be unsupported. So anytime I can support someone, I am like your biggest fan, because it's someone, I just supported a gal that wrote a book. We became friends online, and I'm promoting her book. She's promoting mine. I'm like, I can't even get this from people I know. So just let that be perspective, because you're probably sitting back going, wow, she's got all this help. She probably has all this support. And I'm like, wow, my closest friends kind of sucking big time and not giving me the support that I feel that I need. But here's the deal. I need to speak my truth and tell them it's my problem. I should say, hey, I would really like you to support me more here and there. So it comes back on me, for one. But also, I have to understand that, and you need to understand as well, that people, it's not that they're threatened by you, but they're looking at it, they're not in your position. They don't have the hopes and dreams and the goals that you have. Therefore, they're not going to champion you the way you want, because they're not you. They're probably living in their life, in their head, probably miserable. And people who can't be happy for themselves will probably not be happy for others, including you. It's nothing personal. You have to own this anyway. You have to persevere anyway. You have to have your dreams, write them down, see your goals daily, and time block your life to make sure that you are taking a little chunk of that and little bites towards your big goal, right? They say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Doing that towards your goal anyway. You're going to be relentless anyway. You're not going to listen to what the naysayers say. You're not going to listen to the no's. Let the no's be the foundation that you build your business on. Because I will tell you, and I wrote this in my book, people that will laugh at you or tell you no in the beginning, later when you succeed, they're going to be like, wow, I know her. That's so amazing. Look at her. She just went for it. And they'll be so proud of you. They probably won't tell you that. They'll probably tell your whoever, like, hey, I know her. Like, we're friends. They probably won't tell you to your face, but they will tell others, and they will be proud of you in their own twisted way. So with that, I know I'm leaving out probably a ton of different things that you guys want to hear about. So I'm going to open this up for questions. Or Sarah, do you have questions? And we'll take it from there.
Yeah, I actually do. That was awesome. Thank you so much. I feel like you say so many nuggets that we can take away, even, not being in this business. There's so many things. And I definitely came with my own questions out of selfishness. So I'm going to start with those and let everybody else kind of, jump in. So I feel like when I listen to you speak, I relate to a lot of what you say, because you clearly are a go-getter, a perfectionist. You have that competitive nature. How did you quiet that to get to the right place where you were kind of living in your most healthy way, but also still accomplishing what you wanted to accomplish?
When you give up control, so when I realized, okay, God has it all planned out for me, my name is on the floor, on the ground floor of rooms I've not stepped foot in, and it's mapped out for me, and to stop trying to control everything, because I'm not in control, and it's really hard for me to acknowledge, but there's a sense of peace that came through me on that. And I pray every night saying, I think I'm always coming from gratitude. And so when I come from gratitude and I always pray, thank you, Lord, for all the things that you've given to me in my life. Thank you for all that's to come. And I just release the control to you. It's in your hands. There is a freedom there's a freedom to me by giving that control away and just having gratitude. I can sit and wallow. Why me? Why my mom? Why, the things I've had to do in my life. I've been supporting myself since I was 17 with my parents. And I was really pissed off by that. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm so grateful for this, because had she been the mother I always needed, I wouldn't be half the mother I am today. So I'm actually grateful for that. So when you turn that wise me to like, okay, try me, because I'm not going to be broken for long, because we're all broken. And I truly believe that the strongest, kindest, most loving people you'll ever meet are the ones that are the broken who have healed themselves through time, through prayer, through uplifting, through elevation. And that comes with experience. It comes from experience. And I'm like, I can sit and wallow in this, and I can wallow and also knowing that I'm not perfect. Like, I am not by any means. In fact, I will tell, my mom was big on perfectionism, and she's beautiful. She's beautiful. I mean, people always ask, where do you get your good skin? I get it from my mama. And she's from Oklahoma. She's born in Stillwater, Oklahoma. She was very much about appearances. Like, don't tell, like, I'm like, you like this? Oh, I got it for like $5. I love a sale. And my mom was like, oh, thank you. Just, like she just wanted, she was like prim and proper in so many ways. And I'm just that like, oh my gosh, I got on the sale rack. It's great. And she's like, you don't have to tell people that, right? You don't need to tell. And I'm like, why? I love to share my finds. So that's just why I'm like the black sheep of my family in a sense of like appearances, yet I'm the most successful, go figure. But being yourself, here's the deal. I would rather people hate me for me being myself than love me for being who I'm not. And I just got back from London. Yeah, I'd be kicked out of the royal family real quick, because that's just not me. The properness I want to be, and I can change my personality. I'm a chameleon, but having to keep up that standard, like, isn't that just, it's exhausting just thinking about it.
Yeah, I think you posted some quote that we were talking about last week in book club about like, I have to go back and find it for the next to share it with everyone. Yeah. There's like, I've literally read this book once, and then I'm on my second time, and I think I've underlined like half the pages.
I love you.
So, my other question is like, what's your daily routine look like? Because obviously you're a mom of 5, you have 2 businesses one that you're like responsible for, another one that you're working with too. How do you make your day look best?
Okay, so it's really not the best time to answer that, because we haven't had phone lines or modem. Our modem crashed, and the phone company at my dance studio, which we run everything online, we're paperless studio, everything enrollment, and it's recital month. They're down till, they're like, we'll come Friday, and it was Tuesday. So normally would have things lined up, but my schedule is empty because it's been a shit show around here. So with that said, it just depends on the day, because our schedule is pretty routine. Our mornings are open because we are entrepreneurs, and the studio doesn't open until 4 p.m. And so that's fine and dandy, unless I have an instructor that's like, hey, I can't make it to class, and we got to find a sub. And I have about 23 staff, so we're pretty good about, they take care of it. One's always like there to help. And my daughter's now subbing, so she's like, and driving, oh my gosh, it's like the most liberating yet fearful thing in my life. But she'll go and sub for them, which is fab. So it's looking at, so what I look at is, I know I have to be, on a call or doing trainings for my team, or, creating marketing, because I do all the marketing myself, because I enjoy it, on specific times, because I have a deadline. So my deadline dictates. So just to give you clarity, Sunday night is my planning day. So on my evening, so I will look at my schedule on my phone. Me and my husband, we share our schedules on the phone. So like doctor appointment, dentist, he books something, I book something, and that way he knows if I have something that is on the calendar at like 3 and the kids need to be picked up, he won't even call going, hey, who's getting the kids? We won't go together. He won't even bother. He's like, oh, she's doing that, so I'm just gonna go with the kids. So it's our way of, keeping track of our life. And then when things hit the fan though, it's one of those, it sucks, but we just always make it work. But because my schedule isn't so regimented, it's easier to not get things done than to get things done. Does that make sense? So we have to really be diligent, or myself, I have to really be diligent going, oh, wow, we have pictures all day Saturday, and I have auditions for our non-competitive, we have an elite group that they do performances that are not competitive. That's on Sunday, and oops, I haven't sent the email stuff out. And so it's that kind of thing, like oopsie daisy. So if you guys have read my book, I talk about spinning plates. Right now I have the most plates spinning because I'm like a farmer. Right now it's busy season in my studio, but most months it's not. It runs itself. We've been in business for so many years. It's like I can do other things and I have the freedom to do it. Right now I'm spinning the studio plate, and that's what's taking most of my time. And it's making my right eye twitch. I don't care how many years I've been doing it. I still want to put on a show and do a good one, right? And we have 4 shows. So yeah, we're doing that. So that was a long way of just saying, Sunday night, pull out your schedule, look at what you have to do, and then backfill what that you want to be doing for your business. Because if you don't backfill it, you're going to spend it doing things that you're going to start cleaning out your garage, or you're going to start like organizing your junk drawers, which is fine by that. Do it. But it'll keep you busy, and you won't be doing what you need to be doing to elevate your business. Because that's what we tend to do. So you're like, oh man, the garage is really unorganized. Maybe I'll organize my office, or maybe I need to organize, all my swatches in my sewing room, when really you should be doing your things that's going to build your business. Time block it on a Sunday. I keep going on for that, but I don't. I want to get through all your guys' questions.
No, that was great. I guess my question too is like, obviously you're a spiritual person and you are, in a state of like balance. I think you referenced meditation, or, do you have like a miracle morning routine or something?
I do. So I'm a big follower of Gabby Bernstein, and I'm a part of like her miracle membership. So she has meditations. You guys don't have to pay for anything to meditate, and meditation just means you're going to sit quietly and try and clear your mind. And it's hard as hell. It is not easy, especially for me. I'm like a ping pong. I mean, it's hard for me to even sleep at night. So meditation has really been helping me ground myself, because you're sitting there and I do the guided. So if you go to YouTube, type in meditation, it'll be this, you can put in headphones, and then it'll tell you, and now relax your jaw. And you're like, well, wow, my jaw is literally clenched right now. And so it takes you through where it's just downtime. Do it before bed. And if you have and don't have young kids where you're, I'm not a morning person, so I don't like the whole waking up 2 hours for your kids get up and do stuff. I will never suggest that, because I am not wired to be a morning person. I'm like a cat. Like 10 p.m., I'm like, woo, second wind. And I've always been that way. So find where you're most relaxed, or that you have the downtime. And even if it's at, 11 a.m. or it's 3 p.m. based on your schedule, I don't know, with your children, take a moment, try for 10 minutes, or take a bath. Take a bath. There's something soothing and cleansing about having a bath. Put a ton of Epsom salts in it and baking soda in it. It helps draws out the toxins in your body. And it's something that you can pamper that's very inexpensive for yourself. And when I first started, I was really bad off. When I first started going to my Reiki master, just to like, I want more time. I want to be more present, and I'm always fluttering, and I just feel like this inside. And the first thing she told me was, go take a bath, even if it's once a month, and then break it down to once a week. And because when I was sitting in there, I was like, I don't have time for this. Like, I could be doing so many other things. Now I look forward to it. I put on Audible, I put on a book, or I listen to music, and it's a great way to like wind down. That's not numbing myself with wine or, sleeping pill or those kinds of things, ladies, because you can easily get in the habit of numbing. And and I'll tell you this, I learned this very quickly with my mom. If you're going through a trauma right now, you're going through something in your life where you're like, it's so painful, I can't breathe. You have to accept it, and you're going to sit and you're going to cry about it. And I sat for years and this is why I can talk without just being a huge ball of mess with my mom, is because I have cried it until I can't cry anymore. And then usually I'll PMS, and then I'm back to like crazy pants for like a few days. But you just have to get in that place where you have to feel it. And what we do as human beings is like, okay, that pain, it doesn't feel good. I don't like feeling this way. So I'm going to have a drink, or I'm going to eat candy, or I'm going to take a pill, or I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? Like those things that numb. What I'm asking you guys to do is feel that. So meditation is what's hard for people, most people, is it really opens you up to, you have to think and feel all the things, but then it's telling you, release it. Okay, release that by accepting it in for what it is, and then letting the emotion pass through you. When you block, numb, stay busy, and so you don't have to ever feel it, it is like a festering wound that will never heal. So that's one thing that you can take away from this is have your moment. You're strong for everybody except for yourself sometimes, and you stay busy so you don't have to feel. Let that in, have your cry about it, take a warm, like nice bath, and do something loving for yourself, and then begin your day, or go to sleep and have a new day. Because peaks and pits, okay, don't celebrate your peaks, and don't wallow too long in your pits. And here's the deal, we all have this going on in our lives, okay? The whole term of balancing your life is bullshit. Like, it's really, there's no sense of balance. It's finding that I'm not going to be upset whenever I'm not in a peak, and I'm not going to bottom out and stay there too long on my pit. Because when my mom got sick, it got real bad for me. Like, I didn't want to live anymore because it was so painful. So you have to just work your way through it and know that time will heal when you address how you're feeling. So in your marriage, maybe you're having issues with your children right now. You're just questioning everything, or they're just being combative, and you're like, why me? What am I doing with my kid, right? We have all these things that it all comes down to yourself. And just know that you can be the solution to your problems if you go within and just start to think more clearly on how to shift what you're doing to make them better. And I know that sounds really bland and cliche, but it really is not. It's not as overwhelming. It's overwhelming. It's not as difficult and complex as people like to think of healing and change in your life. It's making a decision. And when you don't make a decision, you're making a decision to not make the decision, right? Make the decision. I declare I'm going to heal from this that's keeping me from my next level, and set that intention. Because when you do that, you bring awareness to it, and then you start to bring attention to it, and it's like a festering wound. You're going to start healing that by addressing it. Being busy, numbing, all the things that we do to just bypass it, it's still there. And that was a huge change in myself. So you can pray about it, meditate about it, put crystals, rub your crystal, whatever you want to do about it. But you have to sit and think and feel it, and then bless and release it.
That was good. Somebody else said they needed that. Well, I do have like one or two more questions, but I want to.
It's woo-woo. I'm sorry. Sometimes it's like people are like, okay, chick, I know it gets a little woo-woo, but it. I try not to be.
I think in your book you said you like run with crystals in your sports bra, and we were laughing about it.
Yeah, if I'm like change, forget it. I like do this, and I get rocks flying everywhere. Where's my crystals? Like, I need a block, because when you're empathic, so if you guys ever feel that when you walk into a room and all of a sudden the energy changes, where you walk into a room, or you have you're with some friends and you leave and you're like, man, I need a nap. I'm exhausted, because they're zapping your energy, because you're this bright light, and so then all the vampires come out and they're like, wow, she's a bright light. Let me suck onto that. And so if you leave experiences, people, meetings, and you're like, wow, I'm exhausted, then you just have to know that you're empathic, and these energies are leeching onto you. And so you have to learn to ground them. And so I always say it's like, we're like Care Bears. Okay. So my favorite Care Bear, which I still have because I'm a hoarder when I was a kid, was Loves a Lot, with the little heart on his belly. I'm like my Care Bear. I literally you sit with your Care Bear, with the Care Bear stare, like coming out of your belly. And we have this beam of light in our chakra, it's our solar plexus, that's basically radiating out through time and space, hitting on people. So if you ever pull up your phone to text somebody and they call you and you're like, whoa, I was just getting ready to call you. Or you're messaging, you're going to go to message somebody and they've already messaged you and you're like, whoa, I was just getting ready to message you and you beat me to it. We connect with people, whether they live near us or live near us or not. We have that being coming through us. And if you don't protect that, you're invading people's space, and then you're wondering why you're zapped is because you're like giving away your light freely. So if you learn to ground, shield, protect, I'm going to be doing a training on that, future stuff, just so you guys know. Then it grounds you going, I'm going to like take all my little beams and I'm just going to keep them right here where they need to be, because I don't need to be invading other people's space, and I don't need to be depleting my own self by just randomly blasting everybody with my ray of sunshine. I mean, it's like an elementary way of saying it, but it hopefully gets the point across that your energy is dictated, it can be dictated by who you're around, but when you're grounded, you don't take that personally. And it took me, I have to literally I want to shield myself. It's like, I just tell my intention, I'm shielding myself from all things that are not in my best interest. And I push it all the way down to the ground before I walk into my own business, because there's a lot of parents in there who've had a really bad day. They're having a really bad home life. We see these children and dance is their lifeline because their home life is not great. And so you're dealing with a lot of people and a lot of energies. And I would walk out of there at night, and that's okay. I would walk in there at night and I would leave there going, like, I need a drink. Like, this is like, I don't feel good. What is the deal? Because I was just attracting and letting in everyone's bad juju, because they're just like emanating like bad vibes, and they can't help it because they're not aware. And I wasn't aware, and I'm just taking it all in, and I'm wondering why I feel bipolar all the time. So if you feel that way, then you need to start grounding yourself. Meditation will help, saying, this is me. I do not want anything in my area, inside, in my body that is not mine. These feelings, I only want my own emotion. I don't want to be taking on my best friend's sadness. And you're an empath if a friend's telling you, oh, I'm sick, I've been having these stomach pains, and all of a sudden your stomach starts hurting, then you're empathic. That means you just really empathize with people. And not only do you take on and feel for them, you literally feel what they are going through. And that's not healthy. That's why I got sick. And when I started grounding PS, I no longer test for Hashimoto's anymore. So when I learned to ground and shield and protect myself and do good, diet plan and, cut out a lot of sugar, a lot of that, and also speaking my truth, my neck is clear. I no longer test positive for it. And it does make a change.
I always tell my coaches too, like, just because somebody wants to sign up with you doesn't mean you have to sign them up if the energy that person's giving you is not good. Or if there's
you can't push a rope. You can't push a rope. Yeah. Write that down. That's my favorite. I'm like, if I have to push you, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to see if anybody else had any questions. I know we're kind of nearing the end of the hour. If you do, you can always unmute yourself.
Yes.
I have one. I mean, you kind of just touched on it, but I'm more interested. I know Sarah and we talked about this, about your Reiki practice, and like, how did you get into that? And then how do you kind of align that with your, Christian? And I, by the way, am Catholic, and I don't get Catholic guilt. So I'm glad somebody else does.
Yes. Okay. So this was really touchy. Like, I grew up in the church. I'm Christian, I'm non-denominational Christian. I was in the church choir, and I remember the first day I was baptized, and I believe Jesus is my Lord and Savior. So there's no qualm about that. However, it was really hard at first to talk to, with my parents, especially not my mom so much, even though she's very much, they both grew up in the church, but my stepmom. She has a really hard time with me being about Reiki. And Reiki is only about energy. It is a white light. There's nothing about Reiki that is witchcraft. It's moving energy. So the way I equate Reiki is no different than if you raise your hand if you say a blessing over your food. So whenever you go to eat, you're like, I just want to bless this food that we're about to eat. We bless the food. You literally change the molecular structure and the chemical flavor. Like, that sounds weird because I'm not a scientist, but I can change the flavor of orange juice from tart to sweet by just putting Reiki energy in it. And it's no different than you praying over your meal. So if any of you guys have, like, I make, and I put in my book, I make the most amazing cookies. Amazing. And people are like, what's your recipe? Will you share it? I'm like, it's on the back of the Toll House bag. It's not the recipe. It's my love that I put into making it. My dad makes the best sandwiches. I don't want my sandwich I make when my dad's making it. I want to eat his because he puts love into the way he makes his food. Anything he makes, I want because it tastes so good. It's the intentionality. It's we're blessing that food. Reiki is the same way. You're moving energy. And usually when you have pain, okay, so this is scientifically proven. Don't ask for me to quote where, but this is what I've learned in my trainings. Pain is usually from a trauma that has been unhealed. And when you start to heal it, your pain actually might sometimes move around because it's a trapped emotion that's not released. Okay, so when you're putting your hands on someone, like, think of it like a mama's hug. Only my kids, when they're hurt, I'm like, give me my babies so I can hug them and just put my hands on them, and it makes them feel better. You're giving them Reiki without even knowing it. Now you have a term that you're doing when you hold your babies or they kiss it, mama, make it feel better. Okay. But when you take it outside of God or you take it outside of a religion, people have a hard time with that. They think there's something seedy about it. All we're doing is putting energy. So if you were to put your hand over your forehead, like put it up to your face, and if you sit and really listen, or just sit and feel it, it feels hot. Our bodies are made of electricity. We are electric beings. So we have the power to put in energy into people. Also power people of that same energy. So all Reiki is doing is put your hands, and not even touch, but just putting your hands near someone, saying, you're with the intention that you're praying over them, just to give healing, to give them peace, to give them comfort. And the religion does it of laying of hands. He does it same way. But it is hard. Like I said, my stepmom is like, I don't know if I can promote your book because it's like, it says holy shift and you're talking about Reiki and all that stuff, where my dad's like, you know what I'm saying? So it makes people feel uncomfortable, but it is also, it's not to put down a religion or not. It's just another way of doing what religion has been doing forever, but it's just a different way of doing it. How about that?
Yeah, no, I think it's so fascinating. I totally believe in all of it. And so I was just interested kind of in your perspective of how you reconciled all of it.
Okay, so, and just so you know too, how I found out about it, and I didn't even know Reiki existed. It was 2013. It was 2013. I hadn't spoken to this person since high school. It would have been about like 15 years at that time. And I started selling a product. She's like, reached out to me like, hey, I want to get a sample. And I'm like, Vanessa from high school? And she's like, yeah, so come over. Literally, I have not spoken to her forever. She comes over to get a sample. And then she's like, hey, I gotta go see my voodoo doctor. And I'm like, what's your voodoo doctor? And she's like, oh, well, she helps me. My back's really hurting. So she's moving my energy around. I feel so much better. But she also just seems to know everything about me. And she's like helping me clear stuff. I can breathe better and sleep better. And I'm like, it was one of those, when you want the teacher, it will appear, right, when you want the training. And I knew I had a special gift. I just knew I had a sixth sense in some way, but I didn't know how to harness it. Or I also felt like I feel bipolar, and I feel like I need to be on something, because I was feeling like I could feel what people were. It wasn't that I could hear. I cannot hear what people say, but I could feel it. I could feel what they were feeling. And I'm like, one minute I'm like on top of the world, and the next minute I'm like, I don't want to live anymore. And I'm like, this isn't normal, and this isn't like a chemical imbalance. This is what I'm feeling from other people. And I'm like, this isn't right. And I realized I'm highly sensitive, empathic. And so then that made sense, because once I was able to then ground, going, I love you, friend, but I don't want your energy. Let's just give this back to you. And I learned to ground that. Then I'm back to my personality, and I'm not feeling like schizophrenic in a sense. And so anyway, she came into my life when I was like, I need change, and there's something like wrong. There's something, I don't like this feeling, and I'm not going to get on a pill and take something. I know I got to just get the answers. And then Vanessa shows up at my house after 15 years and then gives me this lady's name. And then we've been connected. And I talk about April, my book. She's amazing. Like, she heals people via email in Brazil because they don't have phones that work, like crazy things. Right. And you're like, oh, okay, that's a little bit out there. Right. But me and her both have matching pink glasses. She's like, can I get some pink glasses that match you? And now my husband goes to her. My husband's like, I'll take my money. She's amazing because she's clearing things out of our life that were not necessarily ours, but we were born into the world with. And so to kind of get real bigger thinking, when you were in your mother's womb, you were also inside your grandmother's womb. Because when we're born with all the eggs that we're ever going to carry in our body. So when your grandmother was birthing your mother had all of her eggs, which you're one of those, in her body. So think about think about generationally, okay? The stresses of your family, the stresses of your mother, things that happen in their life, generational, okay, that have been passed through. Excuse me. And when you're in utero, your body's you're just sitting in that cesspool of whether it's traumatic or maybe it's stress. My mom has chronic anxiety. I do Reiki and meditation to heal that chronic anxiety because I have it as well. So there are things in our life that you can work toward healing and also controlling if you sit in silence and just work on releasing. I'm in the shower. So here's what I learned. And I learned this from Pink. If you guys are Pink fans, one of my best friends went on a world tour with her. So I literally learned this. She learned this from Pink and then shared with me because she knows I'm a Reiki practitioner. So Pink says what she does is when she's in the shower, she will do a prayer saying, I want to release all the things that do not serve me, that are not in my highest good. And while the water is rushing, do you ever notice that you have like the most amazing, if you can get it by yourself, ideas, or you can think clearly because you're in the shower because you're not thinking of anything else but the water pouring on you. It's very therapeutic. So I then say, I'm releasing, and as the water's coming off me, and so I'm releasing all that does not serve me all the way down to my feet. And I'm just releasing that down into the earth because this is not in my highest good. And so I'm releasing that, whatever energy clung to you out and about through the day, right? And you're just releasing that. And that's a really great way of grounding. And you can do that every single day because most of you shower every day. So if you're not a bath taker, I prefer showers. So I'm like every day, I'm releasing all that which does not serve me. And I only ask in what is of my highest good. And that really does help me. Yeah, right? Love the shower idea. I've been doing that now for 7 years. And yeah, I got that from my friend who's on tour with Pink. So, hey, go Alicia.
That was great. Thank you. I'm done asking questions. I know somebody else has to have one. So.
I love it. Keep them coming.
My last question was really just going to be like, what's some of your favorite personal development? Because I know obviously you're now a personal development author. What do you like to read yourself?
Rachel Hollis, of course. She comes to mind. I didn't read her last book because I was finishing up mine, and she says so many things, and she's kind of like quick, witty, smart-assy like I am, but I will say the cuss word and she won't. But we're about the same age, so I just felt like I don't want to say anything that's like her, or because when I'm reading it, I feel like I wrote it on some things, right? But her first book, Girl Wash Your Face, was great. I love Tim Ferriss. I love Rob Sperry, The Game of Networking. If you guys are in network marketing, it's, that's a must. Women authors. Oh, Mel Robbins. I love me some Mel Robbins. She's like no nonsense, like go after your goals, go do the do. So she's who I'm, looking at right now. Spirituality, of course, Gabby Bernstein, is all about it. I'm really trying to expand the female collective of personal development, because it's been predominantly male. Like the co-founders I work with, they're male and they give a male perspective. And that's partly why I wrote a book going, seeing so many male authors about be bold in business and you gotta hustle. And I'm like, forget the hustle. Can we flow? Can we be in a flow? And I'm seeing now Rachel Hollis, no offense to her, but she's really about that hustle. And I'm like, I don't have a nanny. And there's a lot of like people that are in leadership positions on network marketing or in the space that don't have kids. And so I preach like heavy to anyone that will listen. If you're watching someone that's not they might be living the lifestyle you want, but they don't have the life that you live, meaning they're not married, they have 0 kids, and they're telling you to hustle. You're setting yourself up for burnout. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you got to find a flow, meaning I'm going to be off balance and I'm going to be spinning really hard on this plate and just kind of spinning these over here. But this one's like got to be going, but get the buy-in from your family. Because when you show your family, look, I really want to do this. I'm going to have to put in 15 hours a week to do this. I'm going to time block it in. Can you get help with the kids? Can you take them to the park? Can you call your mama? Can you call, your father-in-law? Can you co-op to help you with the kids so that way you can get done and be, not just, interrupted? Can you make time to do that? And so I'm looking for, personal development coaches that are doing that. And I don't really see anybody talking about it. I do like one. She's no children. She's married, no children, but her name's Carla. She's called the Champagne Diet. So she's a Champagne Diet. I've been following her for a long time. She's all about working out too. So she's great. That's another one. So there's not any like hidden gems. I'm like looking around my office for like an author. Oh, you know what? I just got her book. So this gal, her name is Fear is My Homeboy. It's from Judy Holler. I just got her book. I haven't read it. So for me saying, oh, it's an amazing book, I can't tell you that. However,
yeah, it's good.
But I connected with her online. She just came out with this book. It literally just dropped a couple days ago. And we become friends. And I'm like, hi, can we be friends now? Because she loves improv. She loves comedy. She loves hip hop. She's all about being like fearless. And I'm like, those are all the things I am too. And we've been connecting and messaging each other. And I told her, I'm going to promote your book. She's promoting mine. That's like shout from the rooftops. Like, wow. Like, what I'm saying? Meeting strangers and they're like willing to help you get your message out. And then I will in fact do the same for her. So check out her book. It's brand new. First time author, but she's been a keynote speaker and been, doing her thing for years. And I respect that. So she's one that I would give. And I would just purchase it. Good. And then I will tell you, ladies, that I'm finding that women who are online promoting about celebrating and like promoting other women, sometimes they don't necessarily do that. So I reached out to people that have like conferences and that, are all about and have a huge, very personable, and I'm all about LinkedIn. And they're like, I want to send you my book so you can read it. And they were like, nah. So I'm like, I won't be sharing those names. But it's really funny how they say one thing and they do another. So just kind of watch. I'm kind of like, I'm like, I'm going to compile a good list for you guys. And then I'll give it to Sarah so she can post on it. I just have all my books in my cabinet, and I'm like, I'll compile a good list for you of people that I actually like have read and approve. Brandon Bird, like his high performance is a little intense for me, just so you know. It's like listening to an Audible and then reading it at the same time because it's a lot of listing of things, and sometimes I'm like, so just to be honest, it was a lot to digest. But Brandon Bouchard's really great too.
Yeah, I agree. I had a hard time with that one.
It's just, I'm like, I know it's really great content, but just not how my brain works. Oh my God.
It's
just
hard.
To be honest, Wow. He needs a playlist or something in there to spark it up. Add a little zhuzh.
Yeah. Well, I want to respect everybody's time, and I know people are starting to pop off because I've scheduled it for an hour, but do you just want to say like where all they can get your book and what your Instagram handle is, where they can find you and then continue to support you?
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. So my book, you've seen what it looks like. I brought out here. It's at Barnes & Noble. So barnesandnoble.com. They're carrying it in the store for local, but unless you go in and ask for it to be held in your store, they're not very, they won't hold it in the store, but you can get online there. And then Amazon. If you're a Prime member, it's worth it. The soft cover and hardback is on Amazon. Love me some. I'm an Amazon Prime mom. I'm not a Pinterest mom. I'm an Amazon mom. So that is there. It's being picked up by random, like Goodreads. You can download it there. I just got picked up by two. I mean, you can buy this anywhere that Amazon and Barnes & Noble ships, and so that's worldwide. But I just was in London last week and signed contracts. There's 2 major retailers that are going to actually house my book in the store. So if you happen to know anybody in London that could like walk into their store, it'll be there, I think, within the month. So I was like super excited about that. So I'm happy. I'm like, that was like a huge like cheersies. We were like, yay for that. But it's grassroots. And so you guys sharing it and supporting me means the world to me. However I can support you individually, let me know. If you're following me on Instagram, if I don't follow you right back, DM me saying, hey, it was great to connect with you on the Zoom tonight. Then I'll know you were here, because I don't necessarily follow everyone that follows me, and I don't want to not follow you. So please get in my DMs. And my Instagram handle is Mrs. MRS, Mrs. Lindsey with an E, Lindsey Curry. And you'll see my face. I think I'm doing my book face. Okay. I wish my daughter was here with me right now. She likes to do it too. She's always like,
speaking of, can we take a picture with you? Should we all make your face?
Yes. Oh yeah. We need a picture. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Please do. Everyone, get your cameras on your phone. Get it going. I'm zooming this out. Such a good idea. I'm like, oh wait, let me.
If you tell me when you're ready.
Okay, ready? Okay, but we're all gonna take a picture. Like, this is the best thing ever. Okay, ready, everybody?
3, 2, 1.
You guys are awesome.
I took like 5.
I took 2. I was like,
thank you so much, Lindsey. This was awesome. We really appreciate it. And if you haven't read the book yet, go get it. And you'll have a lot of good takeaways just like we do. And you're welcome to join in our book club too.
And if you're not put off by rap music, I have a kick-ass playlist that accompanies the book, but it's not your mama's playlist, so you've been warned. And you can access it if you go to my Instagram, click in my bio, my link tree will show up, and then it'll say Spotify playlist there, and it'll take you right to it. It's on Spotify as Holy Shift playlist. It is not it's not G-rated. So not sorry, but anyway, just be prepared. Don't play it when the kids are in the car, okay? Play it when you're working out, okay? There's that. And so I want to thank you guys. DM me if you have, other things. Oh, and here's the deal. I need your feedback. Once you get the book, if you've read it, could you please do me one solid? Go to your Amazon and rate it. Who knew? You have to rate things before, otherwise then it shows up in people's, hey, suggested you like this book, maybe you like this author. It would really mean a lot to me by getting the ratings. I mean, it's torture. This is so much work. Writing the book was easier than marketing it. It's like, can you do this? I feel so needy. However, if there's parts of the book that you want to deep dive in, I am coming out with an online course called Spiritual and accentuating the word rich. And it's rich in your relationships. It's rich in your personal development. It's rich in all things, not just your wealth. And that's coming out soon. But I want to deep dive. And here's the deal. I will get better at training on my book when I know that you guys want to talk on a specific topic. So I'm opening it up to you guys if you want to have a part 2 with a specific lining of what we're going to talk about. And then we'll deep dive into that. So I'm allowing that for you guys while I have the, time to do it. We'll start a book tour this summer, but if I just want your feedback, because here's the deal. I'm already starting my second book, but I don't want to write about something unless I know you guys want it. Like, what do you want more of? What topics do you want to touch on? And that's why my book talks a little bit on a lot of subjects, because I want to see what was really resonating, going, I want more of this particular type. So if you guys do that, I will gladly come back on and do another one more specific on a certain topic. Just give me feedback, go through Sarah, and we'll connect and we'll do another one of these, because this is fun for me. And also it helps me hone my own skills of like, too much of that, say less of that, you know what I'm saying? Just practice.
Well, we love it. Thank you.
Of course. All right, guys. Happy Wednesday.